Hello everyone, and welcome to our brain fitness class. Today we will be talking about the impact of music on memory and well-being. Some of the topics we'll have include understanding memory, where music fits in, how music affects your brain, why music stays with us, the science behind music and memory, how music benefits us as we age, music as medicine, practical applications, and some simple ways to bring more music into your life. Music is a universal language that transcends cultures and ages. It has been a part of human history for thousands of years, and many of us have fond memories tied to certain songs or melodies. But music is more than a pleasant sound. Music allows us to connect to one another and our past. It has a profound influence on the brain and the body. And as we'll learn today, there's a fascinating connection between music and memory. Memory is how our brains store and recall information. It helps us remember experiences, facts, and skills. Memory is divided into three types. Sensory memory, that's that brief moment of a memory lasting less than a second. It helps us to focus what we see, hear, and feel before passing it on to short-term memory. Short-term memory, also known as working memory, holds information for a short period of time, less than a minute. It helps us remember things like a phone number while we dial it. Long-term memory stores information for a lifetime. It's divided into two types: explicit memory, which is your conscious memory, things that you can actively recall. This includes episodic memory, memories of past experiences, maybe your first concert, and semantic memory, knowledge of facts and concepts, knowing that song's lyrics. Implicit memory is unconscious memory, things that we remember without thinking about them. And that includes your procedural memory, which are skills and tasks that we can do automatically, like playing a musical instrument. Music can strengthen memory, especially long-term memory. Songs often trigger episodic memories, events tied to music, and reinforce semantic memory, the learning song's lyrics, and using procedural memory to play an instrument or dancing. Music is a powerful tool for keeping the brain active and engaged. We will be demonstrating an AI tool during class this week. It's a free site called Refusion, and it actually creates music. So I asked Refusion to create a song that defines the memory process. And we will listen to this in class. But after class is over, I'll put it on the course website if you want to hear it. It's pretty clever. What makes music so special is that it activates multiple memory systems simultaneously. When we listen to or perform music, we engage our procedural memory for the rhythm and physical responses, our semantic memory for understanding the musical structure, our episodic memory for the personal experiences associated with the music, and emotional memory for the feelings that the music evokes. This widespread activation across different memory systems help explain why musical memories often remain accessible, even when other types of memories become difficult to retrieve. During our class on Wednesday, we might show this film. It is a 12-minute video, and it describes the area, and it shows the areas of your brain that are affected by music, and it uses brain imaging to do so. So it's a very interesting film, very informative, and I'll also put on the class website after our lesson is over. All right, we talked about how music influences our brain. We're going to talk about the key areas of the brain that are affected by music. First of all is the auditory cortex. This is the first stop for music in your brain. The auditory cortex processes the basic elements of sound, such as pitch, tempo, rhythm, and melody. It helps you recognize familiar tunes and enjoy the structure of music. We all remember the hippocampus. The hippocampus is responsible for forming and retrieving memories. Music is closely tied to memory, which is why hearing a song from decades ago can instantly transport you back in time. The hippocampus is also involved in learning new information, and music can help strengthen those memory pathways. Next, we have the amygdala. The amygdala is a part of the brain that deals with emotions. Music has a unique ability to trigger emotional responses, whether it's happiness, sadness, nostalgia, or excitement. When we listen to music, the amygdala releases dopamine, which is a feel-good chemical that enhances our mood. The cerebellum is a part of the brain involved in movement and coordination. When you tap your feet to the beat or clap along to a song, your cerebellum is working to synchronize your movements with the rhythm. But research over the past decades have also highlighted significant involvement in various types of memory processes, including procedural memory, how you learn and remember physical skills, like learning how to play the instrument and the finger positions; implicit memory, involved in implicit learning processes, including the automatic timing elements, which are critical for musical performance and appreciation; and working memory. More recent research suggests that the cerebellum contributes to working memory function, helping to temporarily store and manipulate information needed for complex cognitive tasks. The prefrontal cortex is the decision-making and problem-solving center of the brain. Playing music or learning a new instrument engages the prefrontal cortex, helping to strengthen the cognitive abilities such as planning, organizing, and multitasking. Musicians often show enhanced connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and other brain regions involved in auditory processing and memory, suggesting that musical training may strengthen those neural pathways. There are certain memory types that are activated in the prefrontal cortex while listening to music. They include episodic memory. So as you're listening to specific pieces of memory or music, you are recalling personal experiences. Semantic memory, recognizing and understanding musical structures and styles. Working memory, actively holding and manipulating musical information, such as tracking themes and motifs throughout a piece. Emotional memory, recalling and experiencing the emotions associated with that familiar music. Anticipatory memory, predicting what comes next in familiar musical sequences based on previous exposure and knowledge. And finally, recognition memory, identifying previously heard music, musicians, and musical elements. We're going to have another example here of refusion. And in this case, and I'm going to play just a little bit of it now. In this case, the prompt included a section of text from the handout. And the text was, music has many benefits in the brain. When listening or performing music, it's lighting up a constellation of brain regions, the auditory cortex for sound, motor regions for the beat, limbic system for emotion, and frontal lobes to interpret this meaning. And then I asked, please create a classical piece which would illustrate these dynamic activities in the brain as we're listening. So in class, I will be playing this. I'll try playing it now and see how it comes across. But in class, we'll be playing it, and I'll ask you to close your eyes and to visualize your brain responding, and to maybe try to think about those areas in your brain and how they are responding. So we'll just take a short listen here. Again, this music was created by AI with the prompt that you can see. interesting piece for AI, I think, but it did seem to illustrate those explosions of activity in the different areas of your brain. All right, now let's talk about some examples of music's impact on your brain. So music has an impact on our brain just from our growing up years. So sometimes we can hear a few chords and it will create memories and more. There are a few songs that I remember, the Beverly Hillbillies, Green Acres. I grew up on those shows. And I hear that theme song and it really makes me remember what was going on at that time and how I felt when I was watching the show. So we'll have a little bit of time in our class, and we won't do this whole activity, but we'll do some of them. Try to guess the TV show theme song when we do this activity. But music also stays with us. Have you ever noticed how a certain sound can just bring you back in time? Maybe it's that tune that was playing during your first dance, a lullaby from childhood, or a hymn. There's something special about how music sticks with us throughout our lives. And of course, what's even more amazing is that music often stays with us, even when other memories begin to fade. For people experiencing memory challenges or conditions like Alzheimer's disease, musical memories can remain strong and clear, while other types of memories become difficult to access. This remarkable ability has been observed countless times in care centers. Individuals who may not recognize family members can still sing along word for word to songs from their youth. Some musicians with advanced memory conditions can still play instruments or conduct orchestras, drawing on musical skills that remain intact, while other abilities have diminished. These observations aren't just heartwarming stories. They offer important insights into how our brains store and access different types of memories. Have you ever got a song stuck in your head and it's playing over and over again throughout your day? Well, this is actually a common experience and is known as an earworm. And it provides some fascinating clues about how deeply music connects to our memory systems. Researchers have found that earworms, or involuntary musical imagery, typically feature simple repetitive melodies with unique or unexpected elements, specifically designed to engage our brain's memory systems. When a melody has just the right combination of predictability and surprise, our brains seem particularly eager to rehearse and remember it. The earworm phenomenon demonstrates how efficiently our brains encode musical information, often after a single listening. This exceptional ability to remember music appears to use specialized memory pathways that remain accessible even when other types of memory become challenging. Interestingly, earworms can occur more frequently in people experiencing mild memory difficulties, suggesting they might represent the brain's automatic rehearsal system working to strengthen neural connections. This natural tendency to repeat and practice musical patterns may help explain why musical memories remain accessible longer than other types of memories. And we will, if we have time, watch this video that gives us a deeper look at the earworm phenomenon. Another thing that music does for us is it creates strong emotional connections. The songs that matter most to us are usually tied to important moments and feelings in our lives. So think about those songs that trigger vivid memories. The emotional power of these connections helps cement those memories in our minds. The amygdala, the structure involved in processing emotions, often remains relatively preserved in the early stages of memory decline. This helps explain why emotionally charged musical memories can remain accessible when other types of memories become difficult to retrieve. Researchers have found that even people with significant memory challenges can still recognize emotions in music, showing that this emotional processing remains remarkably resilient. One fascinating aspect of music's emotional power involves our brain's reward system. Researchers have discovered that listening to the music we enjoy triggers the release of dopamine, the same feel-good brain chemical associated with pleasurable activities like eating food or spending time with others. What's particularly interesting is that dopamine is released not just during that most enjoyable part of music, but also in anticipation of those movements. For example, in classical pieces that build towards a dramatic change or climax, brain scans show dopamine release beginning just before that special moment arrives. This happens with familiar music because our brain remembers and anticipates the emotionally high points, which create a sense of pleasurable anticipation. A well-known example of this is Beethoven's String Quartet Number 14, which shifts between musical sections and creates that anticipatory responses. The brain actually experiences two waves of pleasure, first in anticipation and then in experiencing the musical moment itself. The same pattern occurs whether you're listening to classical compositions, jazz improvisations, or the perfect pop song. They can all give you chills. This anticipatory pleasure helps explain why we enjoy listening to the same music repeatedly. Our brain's reward center activates not just from surprise, but also from correctly predicting emotional peaks. This combination of emotional arousal and reward strengthens the neural connections associated with music, essentially burning these musical memories more deeply into our minds than ordinary emotionally neutral memories. The strong connection between emotional arousal and memory formation explains why music from our teenage and young adult years often remain especially vivid throughout life. During those formative years, we typically experience music with heightened emotional intensity, creating strong memory associations that can last a lifetime, even through significant cognitive changes. I'm going to play part of this now. I mentioned Beethoven, and I know I mentioned Beethoven's 14th, but this song is a really good example of the anticipation and pleasure that was explained in the previous slide. And this is actually from the movie A Mortal Beloved. If you haven't seen that, it's a movie about Beethoven, and the music is his very best. It was an excellent movie. So anyway, we'll listen to this for just a couple of moments. Or maybe we won't. We'll show it in class on Wednesday, and then I'll put the YouTube video on the course website as well. Music also provides emotional comfort and gives us a better mood. Familiar music can help manage feelings of anxiety or agitation. In studies in 2012, Gerdner found that personalized music, songs that may have special meaning to each individual, can significantly improve mood and reduce stress. This effect is so powerful that many care facilities now use personalized playlists as a first approach before medications when residents become anxious or upset. The right song at the right time can sometimes calm agitation more efficiently and with fewer side effects than medication. Music's emotional impact works through several pathways. It can distract from uncomfortable feelings, evoke positive memories, provide a sense of comfort and familiarity in unfamiliar environments, and can even help regulate heart rate and breathing. Music helps people recall personal memories more quickly and with more detail. Studies in 2015 discovered that when people with memory challenges listen to favorite songs, they recall personal memories more quickly and with more detail and with stronger emotions than without music. These music-evoked autobiographical memories often contain rich details about the past, who was there, what was happening, and how it felt. Family members and caregivers report breakthrough moments when a loved one with advanced memory loss suddenly recalls detailed stories after hearing a meaningful song from their past. These moments of connection can be deeply meaningful for everyone involved. Music doesn't just preserve our individual memories, it also carries our cultural heritage and collective history. Folk songs, traditional music, and cultural celebrations often use music to pass down stories, values, and traditions from one generation to the next. This phenomenon occurs across cultures worldwide. Traditional music often uses distinctive rhythms, scales, and instruments that create an immediate sense of cultural belonging and recognition. The emotional connection to one's cultural roots can be powerful for people who have moved far from their birthplace or whose cultural practices have become less common. In many indigenous communities, songs carry not just cultural stories, but also practical knowledge about medicine, navigation, or seasonal changes. And these musical traditions represent sophisticated memory systems that have preserved vital information across centuries without a written language. And in class, we'll look at this indigenous couple as they sing the water song, which is a song that is important to their culture. Music also creates shared experiences and improved physical abilities. In a study in 1996, Claire demonstrated that music helps people engage socially, creating meaningful interactions through shared songs, rhythms, and movements. In group settings, music creates a shared experience that doesn't rely on memory or verbal skills. People who might struggle with conversation can still clap, tap their feet, sing along, or enjoy being part of a group. Music groups often foster a sense of belonging and community that help combat isolation, which is the significant risk for cognitive decline. Now, the rhythm in music can also enhance movement and coordination. Studies show that steady beats improve walking and physical movement. This effect, known as entrainment, synchronizes our body's rhythms with external rhythms. Even those with coordination difficulties may tap or sway to music. Physical therapists use rhythmic music to improve gait, balance, and coordination in rehabilitation. And we may watch this short video of a line dance in our class on Wednesday night. How can you use music as medicine? Here are some examples. First, you can create a life soundtrack. So make your own playlists of songs from different periods of your life. Include songs from your childhood, your teenage years, your young adulthood, etc. And then listen to these collections and notice what memories they trigger. Join a community choir or music group. No experience necessary. Many communities have choirs specifically for older adults with no auditions required. Group singing provides cognitive, emotional, and social benefits at once. And yes, San Diego Continuing Education does offer choral groups for older adults, so you can check into that. Attend concerts or musical performances. Live music provides multisensory stimulation and opportunities for social connection. Look for daytime concerts, which many orchestras and performance venues offer, specifically for older adults. Consider taking up an instrument. It's never too late to learn. Many music stores and community centers and community colleges offer classes specifically for older beginners. Even simple instruments like hand drums, ukulele, or recorder can provide cognitive benefits and joy. Make music part of your routine. Listen to music while taking walks, as long as you can do that safely, doing household chores, or exercising. Having a regular music time each day ensures that you get the benefits consistently. You can also share music across generations. Ask younger family members about their favorite music and share yours with them. These exchanges can lead to meaningful conversations and strengthen your family bonds. Use music for relaxation. Create a playlist specifically for unwinding or falling asleep. Slow tempo, gentle music, that can all help lower your blood pressure, reduce your stress hormones, and improve your sleep quality. Dance. Dance. Don't forget that dancing is wonderful for the brain. Adding movement to music multiplies those benefits. Engage more parts of the brain and body at the same time. It also improves your balance and coordination while lifting your spirits. Remember, the music that matters most is the music that matters to you. Your personal connection to certain songs and melodies is what makes music such a powerful tool for memory, emotion, and well-being. There's no right or wrong music. Whether you prefer classical symphonies or rock and roll, the best music is what brings you joy and triggers positive memories. Go listen to some good music, and if you're around on Wednesday, join us at 6:30 in our Zoom class as we go through the lesson and do some of the activities. Thank you for listening.